The House of Representatives began moves to revive the almost comatose Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, NIIA, with a view to upgrading it to a degree awarding institution. This decision follows a proposed bill by the House Committee on Foreign Affairs on the need for a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs and related matters, which will be submitted for debate in the House of Representatives. Chairman of the committee, Dr. Yusuf Yakubu, while welcoming stakeholders to the hearing, emphasized the importance of reviving the NIIA, which over the years carved a niche as center of excellence. According to Yakubu, the NIIA had single-handedly trained many career diplomats in foreign policy and diplomacy in the past, as such should be given a new lease of life and upgraded to a degree awarding institution.
NIIA, which in the words of its present management staff, had almost 1,000 highly skilled and competent workforce, today can hardly boast of 250 as its entire personnel force. The number of visitors to the Institute has thinned drastically. Its programs have shrunk to a few staggered efforts to yearly justify its existence and to remind one of the gloried days that have fleeted by. Sadly, but really the best days of the NIIA are clearly far behind us. So faced with the gloomy picture of once vibrant center of excellence and progressive ideals in foreign policy, a foremost piece of pride for our country, we are today left to fashion out ways and means to relaunch into relevance the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs. We have therefore called on all of you, especially the relevant stakeholders, most of whom have the privilege to know what we do not know, to meet minds here in repositioning the Institute for better productivity and output.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, who was represented by the Deputy Leader of the House, Honorable Peter Akpatason, explained that the Ninth Assembly is ready to support the upgrade of the NIIA to a degree awarding institution.
NIIA in our country, we just seem to lack the ability to continue to build, to preserve, and to run anything effectively. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the current House of Representatives is support of every effort that is geared towards revamping, repositioning, even building of strategic institutions in our country, which have suffered the ugly fate of usual inability to maintain and preserve structures and effective operations of institutions of government. It is public knowledge that the Ninth House of Representatives, which I humbly lead, has in the past 2 years continued to support this kind of maintenance and preservation of the establishment of new establishments, including agencies and departments of government. I therefore call for your support for the House in our avowed crusades to rebuild and maintain all that we have, instead of expending our lean resources on establishing or building new ones.
In his submission, the current Director General of the institution went memory lane as he captured the golden era of the institution and its achievements. The Director General also identified inadequate funding and neglect as reasons for the poor state of the institution.
Many institutions like the NI that are acclaimed think tanks have moved in different directions. But the NI has remained where it's been since 1961 and 1971. And therefore, its incapacitation is very obvious. That the NI, has been left behind in the thrust, of the world. And what the institutions have been searching for, to find new vistas, new openings, new paradigms, new perspectives for the things that we do. Let me anchor all of these things by situating them within the objectives and the statutory responsibilities of the NIA. Now, in the current act, the NIA is identified as that agency that would address international questions, that would research and lead to the understanding of international affairs, that the NIA would inform government and guide its policies, that the NIA would train our officials in the field of diplomacy and international relations, that the NIA would continue to ensure and promote the understanding of international affairs through research, through conferences, through seminars, and so on. Now, to be able to do all of these things and be the kind of NIIA that we knew in the past, you would see that a lot of resources would be needed.
This position was also supported by stakeholders, particularly members of the Association of Retired Ambassadors.
What happens after these illustrious people have left the institute? There must be something wrong. We have been talking about restructuring. I happen to believe strongly in restructuring. If you build a house after some years, you want to restructure it. Even your body, if you don't want to change part of it, your doctor will tell you you have to change something. So restructuring is part and parcel of life. But we have to look at the institute as part of the problems we have in Nigeria. And what are the problems? Apart from the structuring problem we have, we also have managerial problem. We also have staffing problem.
All stakeholders agreed that repositioning the institute is a task that must be accomplished, as this will further enrich the diplomatic sagacity of the nation's foreign envoys abroad. Niia Patrick.